I'm Joyce. Standing in the hallway, I'm holding a small envelope from my brother. Inside is a check for half the cost of the engagement ring. It doesn't fix everything, but it's a start, a sign that he finally sees the wreckage he helped cause. It all started with my brother's engagement dinner. My brother, Ryan, is 28 years old. He comes from a family that values tradition and appearance above all else. Our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, are well known in the local community. My father is a strict and somewhat cold man, always focused on his business. My mother is a social butterfly who cares deeply about what others think. Ryan's fiancée, Lily, is 26. She's from a wealthy family and has a penchant for showing off. She loves to make snide remarks, especially at my expense. I'm 30, a successful career woman who's been single. To them, I'm the family's odd one out. The dinner was held at a boutique restaurant where I have a share. When I arrived, I could already sense the tension in the air. Lily started her usual routine, making rude jokes about my single status. Career girl, she'd say, too single to understand real life. Everyone, including my mother, laughed. I remembered how my mother once told me I was too sensitive when I cried over my father's lack of attention. That night, I decided to play along. I let their laughter wash over me, pretending their words didn't hurt. But inside, I was seething. I knew I couldn't keep being the family's doormat. Then, someone dared me. If you don't like her rude jokes, just pay and leave. No one's forcing you. I smiled and thanked them for the option. I stood up, dropped cash for my plate, and walked out without a word. Their laughter followed me, but it stopped when they realized I'd only paid for myself. On my way home, I passed by the jeweler's store. The decision to take back the ring wasn't an impulse. It had been brewing for a long time. You see, when Ryan couldn't afford the diamond Lily wanted, he came to me. "I'll pay you back next quarter, just help me out this once," he'd said. I wired the money quietly, hoping for a simple thank you at least. But all I got was silence. That evening, I made a few calls and sent an email with the proof of purchase. By sunset, the ring was back in the store, sitting under cold glass. I watched the sun dip through my apartment window as the receipt sat in my inbox, the refund pending. Their texts started pouring in. "Joyce, what did you do? Where's the ring? We need to talk." I didn't reply right away. Sometimes, silence is more powerful than words. It's the calm before the storm. The first call came from Ryan. It was a FaceTime, which he only used when he was really panicking. I let it ring. Then came the texts. "Please, just talk to me. She's freaking out." They were taking pictures, and then she noticed the ring was gone. He said I didn't have to go this far, but I knew I did. Lily started posting cryptic Instagram stories. There was a photo of an empty ring box, a close-up of smeared mascara, and a quote about people ruining lives. They thought I'd ruined the proposal, but I was just reclaiming what was mine. By noon, my mother called. She said I was being spiteful. I calmly asked her if she thought I should have stayed and paid for everyone again. Her voice shook as she said that wasn't the point. But it was. I was only valuable to them when I was quiet and generous. Now, I was the villain. The next morning, they shifted from rage to damage control. Ryan texted, asking if we could talk and work things out. Lily posted a new story, a close-up of her bare hand with a caption about losing self-respect, followed by a playlist called Betrayal Broken Heart. It was so performative, but I stayed silent. Later that day, the restaurant manager called. He said my mother had called in a panic, claiming there was a mistake in the booking. I told him there was no mistake, that the event had gone exactly as planned. He then hinted that there might be issues with the photos, like lighting or ambience. I knew they were trying to rewrite the narrative. The reality was that Lily had red eyes from screaming, The waiter had served the wrong wine after I updated the bottle list, and I'd removed my tab an hour before leaving. The venue's photographer knew exactly where to focus, her finger, no ring. That evening, I finally replied to Ryan's message. I simply wrote, "The ring was collateral. You defaulted." He replied with a string of angry dots and said I was blowing things out of proportion. I put my phone down. They were used to me smoothing things over, and now that I was standing up for myself, they called me the arsonist. But I wasn't burning anything, I was just cutting off the fuel I'd been providing for years. The family group chat turned into a battlefield. Aunt Grace told me to fix things, saying it was Lily's engagement, not a prank. Cousin Mia defended me, saying they'd dragged me for years. Then came my mother's voice note, using the guilt trip weapon. She said they'd raised me better and that I shouldn't ruin Ryan's life over a ring. I hit play twice, just to hear how she still tried to control me. It was ironic how no one ever worried about me when I was swallowing my discomfort. I went back to the jewelry store. The man behind the counter recognized me. I told him I wanted to pick something else, a small, quiet chain. I chose a simple, light gold one, the kind that says I'm buying it for myself. I paid with the refund card from the engagement ring. That evening, I wore the chain and went to a local poetry reading alone. When my phone buzzed with another call from Ryan, I turned it off. They'd taught me how to pay, now they were learning how I leave. Lily and her friends tried to salvage the story. She posted a photo with her hand turned to hide the missing ring, captioning it that it wasn't about the diamond but the love. But her tight smile and dull eyes gave her away. Her best friend wrote a blog post, painting me as a jealous sibling who'd sabotaged their future. It was a fictional retelling, completely ignoring the fact that the ring wasn't hers. I decided to fight back. I sent an email to Lily's brand's business sponsor, attaching the invoice, payment trail, and refund log. By the next day, her collaboration page was blank, and by the next week, her online shop closed. I also requested the private video footage from the restaurant. At minute 43, the camera caught Lily twisting the ring on her finger, frowning slightly, and whispering to Ryan, "Are you sure she knows you'll pay her back?" It showed that they knew this wasn't a sudden outburst but a debt that had been building up. The engagement officially broke on a Wednesday. There was no big announcement, just a quiet change in their relationship status and the disappearance of all those forever posts. Ryan stopped calling and texting, but one night, I saw him standing outside my building. He said he knew I thought he'd used me. I raised an eyebrow. He sighed and said he was just trying to make Lily happy. I replied that I'd been trying to keep the family together, but we couldn't keep sacrificing for those who didn't respect us. He handed me the envelope with the check. It wasn't about the money, it was about the acknowledgement. That night, I opened a new document on my laptop titled "How to Leave Without Losing Yourself." It's a blueprint for every woman who's ever been told to just pay and leave. By Friday, the engagement was on life support. Vendors ghosted Lily, and a joint photo shoot was cancelled. Ryan texted, asking if this was really worth it to me. I thought about all the things I'd paid for over the years, not just the ring but also the rides and the rent he couldn't cover. I replied, "Ask yourself why I didn't blink when I took it all back." That night, I went to a gallery opening. My friend had a portrait on display called The Uninvited. It showed a woman at a long table, with an empty plate, a full glass, and eyes that saw everything. She looked like me, not in appearance but in the way she existed. At the end of the event, the artist hugged me and said I was the inspiration. Weeks passed. Lily's candle business never reopened. My mother unfollowed me on all social media, and my father sent one-word texts. Ryan faded from my life, but I didn't feel like I'd lost anything. I'd finally stopped asking to be included in places where I wasn't welcome. One afternoon, I went back to the gallery. The portrait had sold to someone in London. The artist said the buyer saw herself in it. I nodded and said I did too. She told me I'd always been in the frame, they'd just cropped me out. That night, I lit one of my own candles. The light flickered against the gold of my chain, and I smiled. It wasn't about winning or them losing, it was about finding peace that no one could take away.